Tony Nunez. Today I'm going to be talking about World War I and how Canada impacted the war. On July 28, 1914, the world went into chaos as what is known as World War I. Canada joined the war on August 4th, 1914. We did not want to join the war, but the British Army forced us into it. There were many battles that the Canadians fought in, but there were three major ones. The Battle of Vimy Ridge, Passchendaele, and Ypres. The first major battle that Canada faced was going to be one of the hardest ones. This would be known as the Second Battle of Ypres.
But Tony, what about the first Battle of Ypres?
No, Jonathan. Canada wasn't part of the first Battle of Ypres. Anyway, this battle was started on April 22nd, 1915, and the first battle not only was Canada outnumbered, but this would be the introduction of chlorine gas. This gas would be used to poison the Canadian troops and stop them from being able to advance. Through all this, the Canadians lost 6,000 soldiers to either being killed, wounded, or captured, even though the Canadian army was heavily outnumbered but still managed to keep the German forces from breaking through. On July 1st, 1916, the Newfoundland Army went into battle at Beaumont Hamel.
But Tony! But Newfoundland wasn't part of Canada this time.
Yes, you're correct, but Newfoundland was still part of the British Empire, which controlled Canada at this time. Due to error and miscalculation, the Newfoundland Army attacked through uncut barbed wire and against heavy machine gun fire. With half an hour, 324 of the 801 soldiers were dead or missing, and another 386 were critically wounded. On April 9th to 12, 1917, the Canadians were ordered to do an attack on Vimy Ridge. The Canadian troops had to fight on what was basically a graveyard, as early failed attempts to be the French had failed. To successfully take Vimy Ridge, the Canadians would carefully plan and rehearse their attack. To bring the chance of success, each person was given a special role as either a machine gunner, rifleman, a grenade thrower. The key to success was not only their plan, but a heavy artillery barrage. This would provide the Canadian forces with cover so that they would be able to move up the battlefield. For the first time, all of the Canadian divisions would fight together for the first time. On April 12th, the Canadian forces pushed back the German troops and captured Vimy Ridge. This win resulted in heavy loss of 3,598 Canadians of 7,000 wounded. On the 20th of September 1917, some Canadian women gained the right to vote while others lost the right to vote. This is because of conscription, the government decided to change the election rules. This is known as the Wartime Election Act. October 26 to November 10, 1917, the Battle of Passchendaele took place. This battle is known for the horrible weather and brutal fighting. During this battle, Canada was given control of the fight, but the Canadian commander, the Canadian forces were able to capture their objective of winning the Passchendaele battle. 16,000 soldiers were either killed or wounded in this battle. On December 17, 1917, during the federal election, the Wartime Election Act was passed. This divided Canada based on the fact that there were many people who voted against the act, but the people who wanted it won. Fortunately for Canada, this war ended 11 months later. On August 8th till November 11th, 1918, the Canadian Army would be in the battle known as the 100 Days.
Tony, but it wasn't 100 days.
Fun! I know it wasn't 100 days, Captain Obvious, but that's what the historians decided to call it. Canadians played a key role in the series of battles that formed the 100 Days campaign. With the infantry and artillery working in a combined arms system, along with the tactical air power, machine guns, mortars, chemical weapons, and armored vehicles, the German armies were driven back and defeated. On November 11, 1918, the war was finally over. At 11 a.m., the Treaty of Versailles was signed. The war had ended in the 9 million soldier deaths and 20 million civilians.